Tenchi Muyo, the first harem anime that I ever watched, and with the most banger intro of all time. Still to this day, just decades later, it still goes very much hard. We're not necessarily going to sit here and, focus on the multiple different iterations of Tenchi, because yes, there is a multiple, but we're going to mainly focus on Universe and the OVA, because that is the main ones that I grew up watching, and that's really the only ones I really know. I do know there's other ones that's out there. I do know it's still an ongoing series to a point, but we're only focusing on the Universe and the OVA. And yes, as you could probably guess from the whole title of the video and the new playlist that is out now, this is the ClapBack, where essentially we do what we talked about a few videos ago, just talking about different universes and their waifus, and essentially how clappable they all are, as well as just to talk some random nonsense about the show that they're from and how they kind of operate and such. So that's going to be just a new thing going forward, and hopefully this will do well. I hope. I really do. But before I begin, I did see a comment like a long time ago where somebody didn't know what Kofi actually is, and I was a bit confused by that, but I'll go ahead and quickly just briefly talk about it. And for those that don't necessarily know, Kofi is just basically like a Patreon, except you don't have to be a member or anything. You can just donate whatever you want to it, and that's good, right? Just whatever amount you would like to just throw down with to send to me, you can do that. It'll be absolutely helpful, and I'll be extremely grateful. And that's just how it is. If you have a PayPal, you can absolutely do it, and it's going to be an easy time. Granted, if you don't have a PayPal and you prefer like Cash App or something, I do have a Cash App also within the description too. This is it. Go ahead if you want to. That's just kind of how it is. Again, Ko-Fi's not really that difficult or weird or anything, so if you want to throw something my way, that'll be very much appreciated. But anyway, because this show is so close to me and so like nostalgic for me, it's very much easy to put it into a high tier end of just clappability. Everybody in this show is pretty much worth it. Yes, even Mihoshi's ass. And honestly, I didn't care for Mihoshi because of how dumb she is. Granted, probably easy to get ass from, but then she probably doesn't know how that works. So, because that's just how she is, right? But overall, in terms of the female characters of the show, there's a lot. And just overall in Tenchi in general, there's a ton. There's way more than you normally think it would be. Now, to be real, you would think when it comes down to this show and its cast of characters, the one person that will be the most popular is Ryoko for sure, right? She has the Super Saiyan 3 looking ass hair, which I legitimately thought that she was a Super Saiyan as a kid, not gonna lie. But at the very same time, you kinda will be wrong. It's on Sasami's time, and it is Sasami's time. That's who I would say is the most popular one, and it's mainly due to the fact that she has a spin-off series, and people gave a shit about Sasami a lot. And there's even something called the Sasami effect, which is basically when the younger character is like the most popular one. There is that. And honestly, Sasami kind of is the one character that sticks out in my brain a lot when I just think of the name Tenchi Muyo. Like when I think of Tenchi, I think of Sasami. I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong. I like Ryoko a lot. Hell, she's like best damn girl in the entire show. Maybe second best next to Sasami. But still nonetheless, again, that's second best though. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, Sasami ain't up there or anything like that. She's a valid love interest that can cook, and that is pretty damn good. And I know some people will not necessarily mark her as a love interest because of the whole lolly shit, but if she's in the show and if she has feelings and she's a part of the damn harem, it is what it is. It doesn't necessarily matter. Sasami is there to stay. Granted, right, she even grows up later in this, show's lifeline where she actually looks like Tsunami now, and that's just kind of how it is. And granted, she always was going to look like that because of how their fates kind of mixed together and whatever, because Sasami almost died. But still, Sasami is gonna always be there, right? And I would obviously prefer more the lolly Sasami than, the older one, because the older one just looks too reserved, too refined. I can't F that, or at least I could, but at the same time, I don't want to ruin that. But we can't mess with the one that's a little bit more on the fuego side of cooking though. That just, personally, that is just for me. Hell, even in my old video of the top 30 lollies that I actually like, Sasami's number 4. So I can't necessarily sit here and be like, oh, yeah, no, Sasami she ain't it. She ain't clappable. Plus her dojins be good sometimes. Like, I don't see any universe where Sasami doesn't get a high ranking from me. Like, that's just pure clappability at its finest. Then Ryoko can come through, and that's perfectly fine too. Get both of the blue hair chicks, that's amazing, right? And it also makes me sad that no one really talks about Tenchi Muyo enough to make Sasami art now. So I'm also kind of mad about that too. But still, nonetheless, Sasami is peak. That doesn't necessarily mean the rest of the cast isn't peak as well, right? For a long time, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie, I hated the hell out of Ayeka. I hated her so damn much because she was always the naggy sort of person, the person that has to be right or prissy as hell when it comes down to her princess status of just the whole thing with Jirai. It was some nonsense. It was dead ass annoying as hell, right? But over time, because time just heals all wounds, I suppose, I started to care for her, right? Still don't care for the naggy personality, but I love her design to a point where it's like I can forgive her, right? That's just kind of how it is. Also, I mean, have you seen Ayeka? Have you seen the few times where she's got nothing on? She looks mad good. I'm not gonna necessarily sit here and lie, right? Though if I would have to be competing with her sister, once again, Sasami just getting her cheese clap before Ayeka. That just is what it is. Also, I'm kind of mad there's no Kokatsu model of Ayeka that's like really good. Like, everything kind of looks ass. I don't think there's like, I think there's a decent Sasami model out there now, but there isn't any Ayeka, and it kind of pisses me off, I'm not gonna lie. Wasu! I made a whole MILF hunter on her like a long time ago. Still a peak ass woman, not gonna lie. A little too mature though. I will say, when she has her mature moments, I feel like it's a bit too mature, which granted, you have to understand, both Sasami and Wasu are harboring like their goddess's self, essentially their whole ass, oh, we created the universe having ass self, because that's a canon thing that happens. that's just how it is for those characters. But still, I just don't really care for that much. I like it when Wasu is fun and just makes dumbass inventions and, screw over everything like she did when Ryoki had her more human form and stuff when that first came into existence, and how weird that was. But also would want to clap Ryoki in that form too. It's a bit weird, it's a bit strange, but it is what it is. But we'll also go back to Ryoki in a minute. But still, nonetheless, Wasu is the best when she's just having fun, at least for me, right? That's why I liked her when she first awoken in Kagato's whole ass ship, and she was trapped underneath the damn ship with Mihoshi and just celebrating and cheering on Ryoko during that fight. It was why I care about her a lot, really, in the OVA. She just basically peak when she's having fun. That's, to me, is the best part of Wasu. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. Plus, the character design is still, it's just good. Everybody has such a good character design in this damn show. The whole show just looks amazing. Still to this damn day, I don't care how old this show is, it still looks good. Mihoshi, just to briefly touch back on her, she's like, alright, dumb as hell again, but it is what it is. She looks good. Her good looks save her, honestly, from just being like absolutely not caring whatsoever. And that's just kind of like the main thing. Then you also have like Kyone, which, she kind of is like the most basic one to me, because they made her the most human out of anybody. And hell, I think one of the people that made Tenchi was like, honestly, Kyone and Tenchi, that's like the best one. That's like the best match. But, I mean, of course it is, because it's like, she's like the most human one. And specifically, this character is really for Tenchi universe, which is Nagi. And I'm not necessarily gonna sit here and lie. The bounty hunter Nagi, I, for a long time as a kid, was like, boo! No one wants your fake Ryoko looking ass. We like real Ryoko. Get your bum ass on somewhere. But the now version of me is like, now, hold up now. Like, seriously, especially after that bikini contest, I'm like, what the hell was I saying boo for? This is peak. This is nice. This is what I came here to see. This is exactly what I need to have, right? So Nagi was not necessarily anybody that's like crazy or really, if I'm gonna be honest, that interesting. She was just a rival for Ryoko, if we're gonna be honest. But still, you know, if Nagi in the same room, I mean, if it's possible without dying, I'm probably gonna have to do something with that as well, you know? And that's just kind of how it is. Pretty much every girl in each iteration is valid to a certain degree. Whether if you want Ryoko from the OVA that's a bit more, I would say, aggressive-ish in the beginning and stuff, and kind of was just on type of timing, versus the universe version where she's a bit more silly and goofballish, but still pretty damn good, right? There's like small little changes to the characters and whatever in different shows of the story, but still they are relatively the same character to what they are basically like, you know? So you're not really getting anything really different unless you look at Sasami with her many different spin-offs and many different iterations and all that stuff. So that's like the only character that could change up on you. But outside of that, you're not really missing a whole lot when you look at like, oh, is there a big difference here and here? Story-wise, somewhat to a point, but not really to what the base bare bones of what these characters are. And then to kind of cap things off too, Ryoko. I know Ryoko is the damn rabbit space demon looking ass thing that just came out of effing nowhere, we're gonna be honest. And also just, you know, a little carrot monster, but at the very same time, it is the most badass ship in all of anime. I do not care what else exists out there. I don't care if you have an Evangelion bullshit. I don't care if you have a Darling in the Franxx bullshit. I don't care. Ryoko throwing this damn rabbit into the air and it transforms into a damn spaceship is the coolest spaceship of life. I don't care. I know Ayeka's ship is also pretty damn cool. I think it's also pretty peak as well. That being said, I think Ryoko is just so damn cool. It's a living, breathing ship, and it's badass as hell. If you tell me that you wouldn't want to ride in that damn thing in real life, I feel like you're lying. You're capping, and you're absolutely lying to me. And then when you really think about it, it's a ship that you can also clap as well, considering the other versions of Ryoko. You get everything. It's a ship, it can take you places, it can also give you free ass, like it's easy access, it's free. As a whole with these girls, I will say too, it does feel like if you are in Tenchi's shoes and you have this house full of women, it does feel like a home. It feels like a lively ass home. It might be annoying at times, but it can definitely be a lively ass home with Sasami cooking, you know, Ryoko trying to get your attention along with Ayeka. Really think about it. It feels like a whole ass home, and it's no wonder why, you know, it's called the Tenchi family. That makes a ton of sense. Like, you're feeling like you're getting that in all shapes and forms, regardless of how the characters are and stuff, right? It feels good. It feels kind of, honestly, because of how old this show is too, and for me personally, it feels kind of cozy as well. You know, there's no show like Tenchi in my brain that feels that void like this show does. Overall, the show just really damn good too. Even Kagato was just like a really good villain in the OVA. I really enjoyed his presence when it came down to what they was trying to do. Also, his English voice lines had like some of the best stuff I heard. He dead ass is the reason why I like calm, cool, collected villains in fiction next to like someone like Sephiroth, because I like it when the villain is actually like, oh, I'm not being a panicky mess at the end of my life or anything like that. He's just being like, yes, even though you beat me, you still haven't won for whatever reason. And that would make him so damn cool and memorable for me. I know we're talking about freaking waifus, but like, let me gush about Kagato for like 5 seconds real quick. Like, I will never forget the episode, and mainly because it was on VHS tape at the time, where Kagato kidnapped Ryoko and essentially had the whole gang getting their pockets ran outside of Grandpa. Like, literally, Tenchi had this whole ass sword in his hand, and he was just like, oh, so that's the sword. But that's a dangerous weapon. Carry it around like that and you're gonna hurt yourself, young man. I'm like, what is this nonsense? This man is goated as hell. I'm not gonna let you lie. This is how villains should be. Then you just drop Ryoko on the ground at some point. You're just like, however, this one belongs to me. This, oh, how do I say, waste products. I was like, waste products? What you mean Ryoko's a waste product? Did you clap her cheeks or something? Did she not provide it good? Did you clap her cheeks and was you done with that? Was that the reason why? Like deadass, the OVA is so damn good, right? Tenchi can be annoying, but still, at least in the OVA, but still, that OVA is so damn good. I'm sorry, but overall, if I had to give a ranking of clappability for this series as a whole, I would probably give it maybe an 8.5. That's not too bad, right? And it's mainly due to the fact you get people like Sasami, Ryoko, Wasu, Ayeka, you know, and all that stuff. What tone it down for me for at least like a few points is again because Mihoshi exists and she's like hella dumb to a ridiculous degree, and I don't really care for that. Kione is just a little too boring and basic for me, right? And, you know, Nagi doesn't necessarily matter into the entirety of Tenchi, which is a bit sad. So that's how it is for myself. But overall, you're still getting a good ass deal. Overall, I wish the series just had a bit more attention to, you know, people to care about. And honestly, I kind of just wish people drew a bit more of these characters, especially Sasami and Ryoko and a few others, because especially Ayeka too, because the lack of Ayeka content is baffling to me when she looks so damn fine. There is one picture of her that will always remain in my memory for whatever reason, because she looks so damn good, and I can't hate her for that. Like, she just, it's a peak design choice, I'm not gonna lie. But that's really all I want to say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out, also on my socials, and like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's me, Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.